can we talk? You know those texts, or your boss or someone says, can we talk? How does that feel? Your stomach will drop. You'll start feeling, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Your chest tightens and your mind just start racing. What happened? Did I do something wrong? You just leap to the stories that you tell yourself. So that one little text, or just that can hijack your entire day. That is a stability moment. And what do we do with that? Literally, I was thinking about this, about how a text can, like, can we talk? Or a boss or something I was thinking about in my past, and I've probably been fired more than any person on planet Earth in many things. As I started out my journey, I needed to end up here and be an entrepreneur and do my own thing. And that I hearing that, can we talk, was so, I would have so much anxiety over that, because I would start telling a story to myself already. What did I do? Who told that about me? Or what did somebody see? Or if I, just anything, I would just make stuff up. I'm even thinking of, like, what was I thinking at that point in time? And your stomach just drops and your chest gets tight, and it's just that it's like fear, uncertainty, conflict, pressure, like all of that into one. That's the stability moment and old emotional programming. So when that happens, here's what happens: is your nervous system just like poof, you go into survival. We know that. We know that that's happening, and that is because the brain starts trying to protect you from somebody, a tiger coming to eat you. That's what it's protecting you from, because all of a sudden you've got all those chemicals running through your body, of the hormones of just the fear and the uncertainty and all of that. So you have that cortisol and the adrenaline, and you have histamine, and you have, like, everything's flowing through you, and you're thinking, you're telling yourself stories. So and especially when you're already overwhelmed or overloaded, there's even more when that happens. But once your nervous system goes, then you move into the state of the programmed reactor. Whoop, you start spiraling down. There's a PDF for that. A PDF. Imagine that. So here's before reacting, because that PDF that you can download, and that is the stability spiral. And the two states are the programmed reactor. That's the one that will spiral down. That's the state. And then there is the internal operator. That person, the person who chooses that state, chooses to become aware, pause, and so that you can literally create a micro stability, whether that be breathing, because that's the quickest and easiest sometimes, maybe putting your feet down on the floor to like ground yourself, knowing that you're okay. But that pause will give you that moment to create a micro stability that will help you to create, like the breath, micro stability before you react, before you go down the state of the programmed reactor, to then be able to create a little bit of capacity so that you have a little more clarity around the situation, so that you can make a good choice in your movement forward. So that pause is always going to help you to restore clarity. Here's your self-talk phrase. I just think about all the times that I heard that, and even now when my hubby, not now, but because he passed, but when he'd say, babe, can we just talk for a minute or something? And I'd be like, because my programs would say, you're going to be fired. You did something wrong. And even when we're little, it's like my dad would say, we need to have a conversation. And instantly, I know I'm in trouble. And so these are deep programs that we go through. So it's just like, and you get a text, if you have a text that, can we talk? I don't even know who says it. Well, I shouldn't say, because I have seen that before. Still, like in a text, we need to talk. We need to have a conversation, something like that. So anyway, external instability External instability, that is everywhere. Remember, we come from within. When we take on the state of the internal operator, where we take that pause, we realize we stop for a second, we take that pause, we create a microstability, the breath, or doing something, anything to just, because the point of doing something is to disrupt the pattern, that spiral, to stop that spiral. So the external stability from emails, tone shifts, just a tone of someone, silence, unexpected messages, text, emails, all of those things. Stability is learning how to become internally grounded from within, coming home to self, not outsourcing emotions to the external world. We don't have to do that, even though we have programs. And that's the work. But rewiring your brain. So to stabilize first the nervous system, and that's that stability spiral, the PDF, which will show you how in the moment, how to interrupt the pattern so that you can move into a place of stability where you can calm the nervous system in the moment, which is really good. And the more you do that, the more you practice that, the stronger, the more resilient, the better at it you become. And the more that you program your brain to stop, and to pause, and then choose your microstability, whatever that is. And then you can create that capacity so that you can breathe and think, and you're in the parasympathetic rather than the sympathetic in survival. So then you create a little bit of capacity, or some capacity, to think through things and have a little bit of clarity, which then gives you the choice. So I repeat that because the more that I share that with you, it's a practice that I do all the time. And I think about these stability moments. There's no shortage of stability moments that literally we could be spiraling all the time because there's so mucho external instability in the world. If we choose to look at the television and listen to the drama and get involved and all of that, and to come from a disempowering position, give away our power, but come from a disempowering position, because that, when you are going into that spiral, you are now in a disempowered state. You are in survival. And so this is why that stability spiral, I show you like how I figure that out. When Steve passed, my husband of 35 years, wired into my brain to be with the man, I still come home and want to say, "Hi, my baby, I'm home." And sometimes I do. I don't get any answer back. But it's wired. And so these are programs that are just so deep. And the really cool thing is when you disrupt them, you disrupt your brain from going into the downward spiral, and then you get to choose to spiral up, because there are two spirals. Spiral down, spiral up. I guess you could stay in neutral, but anyway, so that's the story. So, let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Yeah, I said that stability is learning how to stay internally grounded, even when something emotionally activates you. And that's the work. Like literally, that is the work, to take that pause and create a microstability, whatever that is, and for you, a breath, or raise your shoulders and drop them, or breathe even deeper, or something to just disrupt the pattern. And if this helped you, again, the free stability spiral, please download that so you can see how to disrupt these spirals in the moment, so to where you don't even spiral, and so that you become the master of your emotions and whatever it is that you want to create. So you can do, be, change, have, create, become absolutely anything. I believe in you. You can do this. I love you so incredibly mucho. And today is day 38 of 365. It seems like it's kind of nothing, but look at how we're growing together. Starting to have a lot more fun here. So I hope that this has been helpful, and we will see you for day 39 tomorrow for another stability moment. See you later.